even burning. Look at that. Jesus. In the 3 years to the end of 2019, there was a 22% increase in electrical fires in New Zealand. There were also a high number of complaints about people carrying out electrical work without qualifications. Let's roll the intro, shall we? We can all agree electricity is dangerous. You've got risk of electrocution, risk of damaging your property, and also a risk of fire due to the thermal effects. As a person that goes in and out of people's homes, in and out of businesses to install, commission, test, rectify faults, I come across things that should be common sense, but how can I say this to be politically correct? Let's just say a lot of people turn on their blinkers when something's wrong within their homes or within their business. One must highlight these points to really get things across. To start off with, if you see any cables like this is an extension lead. It's inexpensive, you know, a couple of dollars, $4 maybe. Please just throw it away, get rid of it. Those internal cores are exposed to its singular level. Everything should be double insulated, and it would not take much to damage that and either damage your equipment or risk of electrocution, you know. So is your life worth $4 to $6? I think no. I think life is much more valuable than that. Moving on to the next one. If in your home you see buttons that are beginning to pop off like this, generally you find if you install, when your house is built, if you install cheaper products, yeah, they tend to mechanically wear up faster. Throughout New Zealand, if nobody requests a certain product, I always install PEL. I like them, they last long. Terminals are nice. The mechanical switches are decent as well. They don't really fail as much as products like Clipsal, which I find are used in most new builds just for the sake of cutting down costs and making more money by the property investor or whoever it may be. Here you can see two problems. One is, well, actually there's two mechs there. That one in the center is doing light somewhere, that's about to pop out. This one here also is ready to pop out, and then on top of that there's a power board here, and the cable is damaged. Most of the time this happens to excessive bending of the cable. The cables themselves have a bending radius people don't really adhere to, so you know, just keep out, look out for that and you'll be fine. Here's another one in the same place, in the same building I was working at, and the mech has popped off. Behind here, this is live. When I turned up, this was powered up, it was running. You know, it's not going to trip the breaker just because the plastic insert has popped out. So just realize, if something like this happens in your home and you have small children and your child decides to stick their finger in here, they'll light up like a Christmas tree maybe. Moving on, we have what you can probably see here. This is a power board. It's been overloaded. I think what was plugged into here, I think it was a heater and something else, a 2 kilowatt heater and something else on a 16 amp circuit with a power board plugged in. There were multiple other things plugged into the normal socket outlets, and this is what happened. It started melting the power board. So if you can, in your own homes, try not to use power boards. the best thing to do is to add additional sockets. In another video, I'll come back to insulation, testing before, testing after. It's imperative this is done. Most people just add a million sockets to the same circuit. That's not how it works. There is a mathematical calculation for everything. Electrical science doesn't say you can add infinite number of sockets to any circuit. Moving on. Here's another one. Okay, so this power board is damaged. I mean, again, what's your life worth? These things are rather inexpensive. This is damaged. You know, these contacts are live. Just throw it away, buy a new one. This here, I see very often. You know, what's the cost of a back box? I get the labor can be expensive, depending on who you call, but to be honest, it shouldn't really cost that much. Just a matter of removing the back box and putting a new one. This one here, good old easy fix box. Now, a child sees this hanging out the wall. Again, what happens when a child starts tugging on that box and pulling it out? Looks like the wall was damaged prior. The electrician who installed this should not have installed this if he knew the plasterboard was damaged in the first place. For newer plasterboards, yeah, it can work out well, and if you seal the box in, yeah, it's always better. I mean, there wouldn't have been timber far away to actually have just installed this in a flush box against timber. It wouldn't come out unless you somehow damage the screws holding the flush box. This one is fantastic. Right, so this is at floor level. This enclosure here is to protect the cable so it cannot be penetrated. Unfortunately, they've left a little loop outside somehow and they've gone in. So yeah, this is actually illegal and very dangerous. You imagine if your child had a fork or a knife and saw this thing hanging out and decided, hey, let's give this a little stab. What happens? Yeah, outcome wouldn't be great. Yes, the breaker would trip, but man, that would hurt. That would really hurt. You have to remember, it doesn't take much current to kill a person. Voltage just burns. Current kills. If you have a pacemaker, even very light current could stop your pacemaker and stop your heart. So yeah, bear those things in mind. This is a New Zealand, Australian plug top. Well, they're all New Zealand, Australian plug tops. Going into a power board, over time they become loose. What happens is you get plasmic discharging. Sometimes you can hear a buzzing and stuff. Yeah, this is a big fire risk. Also, this can damage your appliances. Bear those things in mind. And just always ask yourself, what's your life worth? This could be easily rectified. So long story short, if you use your senses, we feel things. Are they warm to the touch or hot to the touch? Can we smell some kind of indication of an electrical fire? Can we see deplasticization happening to the cables, which I'll get onto deplasticization a little later. They're physically damaged. Time for replacement. Can you see things that were once white plastic and now are yellowish or browning? When they're brown, you know, when things are starting to brown off, they're getting brittle. They will fall apart, as you'll see in the next part of this video. Ask yourself, what is your life worth? I mean, if our homes burn down with all our contents, that's one thing. But if our homes burn down while somebody we love and care for is in the building, yeah, it's irreplaceable. What's your life worth? Have a think. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope it was rather educational. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Stay safe. Have fun. See you next time.